Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Brusher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Poyer.
Present.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Here. Thank you. Madam Clerk, adequate notice?
Adequate notice of this meeting is required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975, has been provided by the annual notice of the Village Tribune, Star Ledger, and Disney Talk on November 18th, 2024, and posted in the Lobby Municipal Complex on that same date.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to postpone the work session portion of this meeting to Wednesday to create a combined meeting beginning at 6 p.m. Is there a motion?
Motion to
Second. Any discussion? None? Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Brusher.
yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Poyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris. Yes. Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now, Wednesday's meeting will be a combined meeting of both work session and regular meeting, starting at 6 p.m. At this time, I will now ask for nominations for the position of President of the Council for 2025. Are there any nominations?
Mr. Chairman, it is my
Yes, Councilman.
It is my honor to nominate Councilwoman Margo Harris for the position of President for the year 2025.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call on the nomination of Councilwoman Harris?
Councilmember Brusher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris. Yes. Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Poyer.
Yes.
And Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Congratulations. Council President Harris, please accept the oath of office, which I understand will be done right in front of the ears.
Okay, repeat after me. I, Margo Harris,
I, Margo Harris,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
I will bear faith and allegiance to the same,
I will bear faith and allegiance to the same,
to the governments established in the United States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in the state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully
impartially,
and impartially or partially?
Impartially. And justly perform the duties of Council President,
What was that? What was the?
impartially and justly
Okay,
perform the
impartially
duties
and justly perform the duties of Council President
for the Township of
for
Edison,
the Township of Edison,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. Thank you. Well, first, I want to tell you that I've already had an accomplishment, check off a box on Council President, because Councilman Brusher never seconds anything. In my 3 years on this council, Councilman Brusher has never seconded a thing. And yet, he seconds my nomination for Council President, and I am so, and this is sincerely, I am so pleased and honored, and I thank you for that. that. Thank you so much. Yes. I also want to wish everybody, I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and I understand that for those Orthodox Christians who are celebrating, it's Orthodox Christmas tomorrow, so I want to wish everyone Happy Christmas. So first I want to thank all my fellow council members for this honor, and I intend to speak with each one of you individually to get an idea of what some of your priorities are for this coming year, which is going to be a very challenging year. It's an election year. We're going to be going into silly season pretty soon. But I do want to sit down with each and every one of you and get some ideas of what you care most about and what you're hearing from your constituents that you care most about. I'm also thrilled that I'm going to have John Pointer, Councilman Pointer, as my partner as vice president. His depth of knowledge, the deep dives he takes into the issues, and especially areas that may not be my strong suits, I think is going to make him a great partner, and I'm looking forward to working with him. Lastly, I would be remiss if I did not thank Rabbi Bernard Rosenberg for coming here and helping to administer the oath. That was a great honor to have you here. And Rabbi Rosenberg has become a very dear friend and has served this community well. And I want to give him, I want to give him a hand for all that he's done. So, a few little fun facts about me. 29-year Edison resident, but I have to say that my best education in this town has come from my service on the Board of Education and on this council. I'm so grateful to have been able to have served on these esteemed boards. I also have 45 years as a mental health professional under my belt, and I have honed my skills in problem solving with individuals, couples, and families. And in this process, I've learned that the most important tools in a therapist's toolbox are my ears. And as they say, we're given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And it's with that in mind, it's those particular skills, those particular tools that I'm hoping to be able to effectively run these council meetings and have an effective year. My 3 years on this council have shown me how involved our residents are, their effectiveness in advocating for the communities, and in doing so helping us make positive changes on their behalves. I'm always impressed by those who are dedicated to staying involved, whether by coming here in person, whether by streaming on Edison TV or on YouTube. And so we really owe you, the public, a debt of gratitude for how you make us better. So getting into some of my own 2025 goals, this is in no particular order, it's kind of as they came into my head. They include the following: improving senior services and reestablishing a senior committee with resident representatives. That's been a pretty dormant committee for quite some time, and we have really great needs in the senior community and with the senior center. So I would like to see a senior committee become active, up and running, and move this town forward with senior services. Near and dear to my heart, and I said this upon taking the oath back in 2022, is a performing arts center. We, as a town of this size, the fact that we don't have one, whereas Woodbridge and Carteret have some wonderful wonderful performing arts centers with really great entertainment. This is really high on my list, and this is something that the Cultural Arts Commission is very involved in trying to establish. We would do so by seeking grants and or possible funding from a corporation with naming rights or a hotel that might want to partner and attach to a performing arts center. On the subject of arts, I want, and I'm hoping others agree with me, want to restore a home for the Edison Arts Society here in the municipal building. The fact that they were unceremoniously taken out of here, yes, we have library space to be able to put it, but it's just not ideal. It's not a central location, and we would like to see the Edison Arts Society be restored to the rightful home here in municipal building. Continuing to improve our existing parks and open space opportunities. This is a big one. This is a real big one coming up. More respect and attention given to public speakers with minimal interruption from council members. Questions would be answered in real time after each speaker from the public has finished speaking. I have not discussed this with the mayor, but one idea I have is I would like him to attend one meeting a month, one of our council meetings a month, to be available to answer questions. Whether or not he's willing to do it, I don't know, but it's just something that crossed my mind that I thought could be beneficial. I would like to establish a resident advisory committee that would be comprised of appointed representatives from North, South, and Clara Barton sections to meet monthly and discuss concerns involving the respective neighborhoods with a council member or members, which can then be reported at council meetings for follow-up. I would like us to explore, I know this has come up quite a bit, the Zoom access for residents. I know there are issues, I know there are some problems, but I know, for example, that Woodbridge has Zoom access, and I'd like us to look at models from other towns to see if this could be possible so that we can engage more of the public. I think you're going to like this next one. Restoring the 6 minutes of public speaking time. So what I want to say about this is, and I've been consistent about this since 2022, to me, it's never been about the way, it's never been about the minutes, 6 minutes, 4 minutes. It's about the way the minutes are used. And I think that the unfortunate result of what's happened with this change is that I don't think that we are reducing the time of our meetings as a result. I think that they have actually increased because of all the hue and cry about having done this. And so when I say that this is about the way we use our minutes, I'm going to use two illustrations of what I mean. It's kind of like saying the riddle of what weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of gold? Well, the fact is, a pound is a pound is a pound. And so whether it's 4 minutes, whether it's 6 minutes, the next example has to do with insurance. So we buy insurance, we pay into insurance, we pay our premiums every year, and we do so because in case we need to use it, we want to know that it's there. We may never use it, and so we will have paid and we don't use it, but it's good to know that it's there. And I think that the residents are wanting to know that that 6 minutes is there, whether or not they use it. Most people don't, but they want to know that it's there. So I'd like to see if we can reestablish the 6 minutes of public speaking time. We'd like to promote transparency in council meetings without fear or favor. And finally, it's my personal goal to run efficient and effective council meetings, hopefully eliminating the need for recesses or early adjournments. So in closing, I look forward to working with my fellow council members, the mayor, our hardworking employees, and our Edison residents towards delivering a productive 2025. I expect you're going to hold my feet to the fire, so I'm going to go out and get myself some fireproof shoes and jump right in. And you can always feel free to address any concerns that you have. Contact me directly through my council email at mharris@edisonnj.gov. Thank you all again so much. I look forward to working with
you. Allegations, will you open that up? Yes, against Mayor Sim Joshua.
Oh, okay. It's me now. Okay. All right. Let's open up
Business as usual.
Let's open up the nominations for Council Vice President.
Disgusting.
Council President.
President,
Talks.
I am honored to nominate Councilman Pointer to the position of Council Vice President.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Okay. Can we get the roll call?
Councilmember Gresham.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes.
I, John Pointer,
I, John,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United
I will
States
support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state.
under the authority of the people. I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties
and justly perform all the duties
of Council Vice President
of Council Vice President
for the Township of Edison,
of the Township of Edison,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God. That's weird being in this seat. Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. Thank you to my council colleagues and your support for me to serve as council vice president for the year 2025. Congratulations are certainly in order to Council President Margo Harris on your nomination and selection. I look forward to working with you this year as you did with me in my tenure, as we deal with the issues that the residents of Edison face. I'd like for a moment to promote some of the objectives I have for this year, and I apologize if my voice is extremely hoarse right now, so if you don't understand me, I'll do my best. Some of these items you have heard me speak on before. First, it's time to modernize our zoning definitions, including that of warehousing, data centers, and residential items such as accessory dwelling units. As mentioned before, there are light industrial zones which over time have developed residentially nearby. Let's update those zones better to reflect the needs of the residents nearby. I believe that we need to update our sign code to address new technologies to maintain a less urban feel of the township. I believe we need to update our curb-to-curb guidelines so when utilities repair our roads, it doesn't leave the road looking half new, half old. I look forward to working with the Environmental Commission to update our tree replacement guidelines and better promote environmental items in the township. And finally, I'd like to promote our adopted area program in the township to help foster community involvement and beautification. While my own list is lengthy, this is not to say I wish to ignore those items that my colleagues find important as well. I look forward to working with you. Once again, congratulations to Council President Margo Harris, and thank you to my colleagues in your support for myself. May the fun of 2025 officially begin. Thank you.
All right, as we go on with the agenda, do we have any public comment on the resolutions? Resolutions only. Christo? And Christo, let me just to point out, because we made the change for tonight, this is the resolution 0001 through 0007.
Yeah. Okay. Can I start? Am I recognized?
You are recognized, and just let us know what resolution you're speaking on.
Absolutely. R001. I don't trust R001, I'm against it. cash management plan. Sam Joshi has no cash management plan. Has no cash management plan. R002, official newspapers for publication of legal notices. Are you going to include my news source in the official list? How do you get on the list? You can answer that later, it's my time. R003, resolution authorizing temporary appropriations for 2025 municipal budget through the chair to Councilman Brescher. We just started a couple days ago, not too long ago, and you already need a temporary budget. That's all right, if you say so, I trust you. Okay, R005. I'm against it. R006. I'm against that too. Absolutely against R006. R007. I don't support it. It's going to be on here. It should be removed. 1 through 7 should all be removed, thrown away. Thrown in the garbage. Okay. And that's it. It's quite a small consent agenda. That's it. That's all you're gonna. There's the rest of it. It's very small consent agenda. So I'm against. And anybody can come up here and public comment on the rest of resolutions and speak how they vehemently oppose 1 through 7, if they wish. Okay. Through the chair to Councilman Brescher. Councilman Brescher, R005, very suspicious. But Happy New Year, Happy Merry Christmas to you, brother. But R005 is very suspicious. Doesn't it look suspicious to you? It looks suspicious to me. It looks suspicious. God bless you, Councilman Brescher. And you too, Councilwoman Weber. I need to get glasses, something else. It's difficult for me to read. Again, I'm against the R003, temporary municipal budget. Just gonna throw that all away. Cash management plan for 2025. Do you have a copy of it that I can look through? I can skim through. So I can take a look at this cash management plan. Who created the cash management plan? She's just gonna cash manage, waste the rest of what we have in the reserves.
Okay. Krista, you had some questions, and so I'm going to ask our business administrator, what publications are approved for legal notices?
Council President, I should defer to the clerk.
Okay. Okay. So we have the Home News, Tribune, the Star Ledger, Gujarat, Samachar, Desi Talk, News India Times, and the Indian Eye. And the consent agenda. The reason why I had wanted to move the consent agenda to the rest of the consent agenda to Wednesday is because in reviewing what the past practice has been for the last 3 council presidents, we went only up to, for the reorg, we went only up to the oral petitions and remarks. And the rest of the agenda, which is the meat of it all, was that had been under the purview of the previous council president. So past 3 council presidents had had that courtesy given to them, and I just was asking for that same courtesy, so we're moving it to Wednesday. The last one was cash management, the cash management plan for 2025. You wanted a copy of that, I think is, okay, so it's apparently in the back, Christo, where you can find that, okay? And online, thank you. Okay. Any other comments on the resolution? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Vincent Caputo. For resolution 006, on setting an interest rate, is that for, like if people default on their utilities and stuff, like the sewer and all that? Oh, I guess so. So yeah, if this has anything to do with that, like the interest rates and the grace period, you try to be lenient because you know, it's really hard out there right now. I'm not a resident of Edison, New Jersey, but I own 2 houses and I have a rental property. And even me, I work at Island Outpost in Egg Harbor Township. I drove 2 hours away to get here. It's hard. Usually when you know, you're paying your bills and things like that, that's the last thing to be paid, the water and the sewer. Also, for the resolution for authorizing accelerated tax sale for the fees, I don't think that's a good thing because that just hurts the residents of Edison. So that's where I'm at.
Sonia, on that resolution about the setting the 006, is this about default on sewer bills, et cetera?
Yes, and we're just going with accordance with the state of New Jersey and what is required.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to comment on the resolutions only? Yes, Joyce.
Bishop Freeman, let me ask you this before I even ask you some of this. The questions that we ask you, we have to go back to the back to find them for ourselves, so we would know what questions that you can answer or which ones we have to go to the back and read ourselves.
Council President, I just ask, which resolution are you speaking about?
No, I'm speaking about the resolution because I heard her tell someone to go to the back to find the answer to something.
It's also on the website.
So you have to go to the website to find information, so this is not the place to go to get questions answered. I'm just trying to be clear, is this, you're telling me, there are people that are sitting out that's watching the TV now, so if I ask the question, if I ask you on 005, give me a better clarification, you gonna tell me to go to the back and read the information?
Council President, if I could just clarify, what was said, there was a specific question about the cash management plan. We answered the question and also let the public know that there was a copy of it in the back if you wanted to review it specifically. So not every question is going to be answered that way, just in that particular question, the information was sitting in the back of the room.
My bad, we got a new council president, and last meeting we had, they told us to go in the back and get some answers to some other questions. So I just want to make sure that this year starts off the correct way. And also, can I have a clarification for the accelerated tax sales and fees for 2025? Because a person I know came up and they came up to the sewer place and they couldn't get a clear answer on. And so they called me, they said, is my sewer bill due? Is this bill due? Is that bill due? Because they went to the office and they didn't get a clear answer. So that's why I'm questioning the accelerated sales, tax, and fees. What is that in relations to?
Do you have other questions and
Yeah,
resolutions?
I want that one, and I want a clarification. Okay, so that's 007 and 005, authorizing processing and cancellation of small balances.
And what was your question on that, Joyce, on 005?
I want to know what that in relation to. Is that in relation to, like, I don't know, if somebody came up short, like it maybe was, you owed 8 cents, or like on the sewer bill or whatever, do they just cancel that out? Because at other times before, they would send me saying, well, you forgot 7 cents. I'm like, oh, wow, let me come. you know, and changed it if the amount of money went up. So just those, I'm just concerned about those two, the cancellation, processing and cancellation of the small balances and the resolution authorizing accelerating tax sales and fees for 2025. That's all.
This would go either to you, Sonia, or you, Ken, about the accelerator. This was 007 and 005.
On 005, the cancellation has to do with balances under $10 that the tax collector is authorized to cancel balances under that amount that are either delinquent or overpaid. And with respect to ordinance number 7, that does establish us to do an accelerated tax sale. Edison has always adopted in the past 15, 20 years to do an accelerated tax sale as opposed to a regular tax sale, meaning that any balances delinquent as of the end of the year for water, sewer, or property taxes are eligible to be placed into the tax sale.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions or comments on resolutions? Joel?
Joel Bassoff. I have a question about Resolution 003, temporary appropriations for the 2025 municipal budget. Our municipal charter requires that there be public hearings in November of each year for the following fiscal year. Public hearings in which department heads request their budgets for the following year. Now, that wasn't done this past year. I don't know that it's been done in previous years, but it is something that's in our municipal charter. So the question is, would it make sense to either amend our charter or going forward to comply with our charter and have those public hearings at the end of the prior fiscal year?
Any other questions?
That's it.
Okay, all right. On the issue of temporary appropriations, where the hearings are by charter supposed to take place the November before, is this correct, the new year? To Joel Bassoff's question, what can someone tell me?
I think I'll certainly review that. I mean, it's customary when we talk about those types of hearings, that those are internal administrative hearings, and have generally not ever been done in the council. Certainly, I've never seen it done in any municipality that I've ever worked in. Certainly, though, I'll review the code to see what the language says, Joel, so to see, but generally, those are administrative internal hearings to set up for the following year. As we know, the budget process plays out. Generally, the budget is introduced in March and April, goes turned over to the council, and they have a full opportunity to have hearings on the budget. The temporary budget has never had that type of public hearing, so I'll certainly review the code, though.
Yeah, it's in the charter.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't think there's a back and forth here.
Right.
Joel, I think you understand there's no back and forth. I'm trying to answer your question.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Okay.
it does call for public hearings, so,
I think I'm trying to answer his question. Thank you.
yeah, so, because it does call for public hearings, if it's not appropriate, then probably the charter should be amended, if we're not gonna comply with it, so that's my suggestion.
Thank you. Thanks, Joel. Anyone else comments on the resolutions, questions? Okay, Steve. Okay, second? You want to have a second? Second, okay, very good. Okay, that was John. Okay, all right. So for the proposed resolutions, anyone need to pull anything for a separate vote on 001 through 007?
R003.
Okay, 3. All right. Okay, anyone else need to pull anything? Okay, so we are looking to approve 001, 002, and then 004 through 007. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, roll call?
Councilmember Busher.
Yes.
Councilmember Quayle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Schmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay, Councilman Brusher, 003.
Yes, question. What's our total cost for the health insurance.
All right.
And what did we expend from last year, let's say, out of that?
I just wanted to confirm with Mr. Roberts, so it's about 39 million, just on health benefits.
39 million. Okay, because the line item was 12 million, right?
What we're required to by the state is 26.25 to adopt, so that's why you're seeing just that portion of it.
So, okay, so I guess.
Not the full balance, if you
Right,
will.
right, no, here's my question. 26%, right, is very close to 25%, which is very close to, let's say, a quarter. But to just do simple math, a quarter would be 4 times 12 million. That would be 48 million. So I understand it would be less, you know, a little bit less, but if you're telling me the total's 39 million, I'm wondering where that other 9 million is, because that's more than the 1%, that's all.
Sure. I can speak just from a legal standpoint. The 26.5% is only to the overall temporary budget. Individual lines may be more depending on what payments are due. Edison may have certain premiums that have to be paid in the first quarter, which are required to pay more than that 26%.
Okay, so you might have to pay the insurance now, is what you're saying?
More than the full amount, yes.
Right.
Yeah. Or more than 25%, yeah.
All right,
Not more than the full amount, excuse me.
thank you.
All right, so a motion to adopt R003,
Motion to adopt?
Second.
okay, roll call?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. All right. We are now going to oral petitions and remarks, working from the list, and we're starting with anonymous. Okay, anonymous has left the building, so we will go on to Leroy Truth.
Right. I am Leroy Truth of Leroy Truth Investigations. Now, Councilman, new President Margot Harris, you've been Council President for 5 minutes, and I am profoundly disappointed that you did not address or say that you would be opening up an immediate investigation on the anal rape allegations made against Mayor Sam Joshi. And I've got to tell you that I'm blown away that you are working with a man who has been alleged to rape a woman as if it didn't happen. I don't understand how that can be possible. It's mind-blowing to me. And with a show of hands, how many of you think it is wrong for a man to rape a woman in Edison, New Jersey? Show of hands. Richard Brescher. Margot, she frowns, she makes a face. Oh, all right, so are you going to open up an investigation into Mayor Sam Joshi immediately on the anal rape allegations and not act like business as usual? That you're working with an alleged rapist. Will you do that?
I'm waiting to hear the rest of your comments and questions before I answer.
I'm going to read a poem that shares some important perspectives. In the Christmas holiday spirit. 'Twas the night before justice in Edison town. 'Twas the night before justice in all through the square. The people were restless, truth filled the air. Mayor Sam Joshi stayed silent in shame while scandals and whispers darkened his name. For one brave woman, old enough to be his mother, spoke of betrayal, of trauma to uncover. Her drink may have been drugged, her trust betrayed by a mayor whose power has left lives frayed. Joshi denied nothing, his silence profound. While sources suggested more victims could be found. Meanwhile, the town crumbled, the pipes ran dry. 4 days without water, residents asking why. 3 years ago, Brescher made his plans clear. Inspect the infrastructure, disaster is near. But Joshi dismissed him. His hubert's too loud. Now Edison Street sit under a waterless cloud. At the council meeting, the tension grew high as Leroy rose to expose the mayor's lies. With courage unshaken, he spoke with great might, unveiling corruption in the council's delight. But then came the moment, a dramatic display, as Councilman Coyle tried to steal Leroy's say. With 30 seconds left, Leroy stood his ground, while Council President Patel spun around. If you don't stop talking, I'll have you removed. But Leroy, unshaken, his courage unmoved, looked Patel in the eye and fearlessly said, "Do it!" A moment that left the council in dread. Police were summoned, but Leroy held fast. This is my time, and I'll make it last. Even Chief Tom Bryan attempted to stare, but Leroy stood strong, his voice filled the air. And he wasn't alone, truth seekers stood tall. Jersey Watcher, Bonholio, Scalzo, and Sativa Cross answered his call. They condemned the council's corruption and shame, demanding accountability in Joshi's name. For this was a town where the Constitution was banned, the flag dishonored by the mayor's hand and all of your hands except for Brescher and one other, I believe. But the people of Edison refused to cover, fighting corruption with truth's great power. For justice will come no matter how long. So as Edison sleeps, know the fight isn't done. For Leroy and the people, the battle's begun. And I heard him proclaim as they rallied that night, justice for the rape victim, and for Edison, what's right? And so will you open up an immediate investigation into Mayor Sam Joshi, Margot Harris, that you're a brand new council president?
You're done with your questions?
That was my question.
Okay. So, as you just said, Leroy, I've been council president for 5 minutes, figuratively speaking. And when I said in my address that I am promoting transparency without fear or favor, that's what I mean. Now, having been council president for this very short period of time, this is not going to be a decision that I make alone. This is something that I would be discussing with fellow council members. And so I can't give you a yes or no answer right now. And but I pledge transparency without fear or favor. And that's what I can say right now. Thank you.
That's a political line if I've ever heard one. He allegedly raped a woman, you're going to call it business as usual.
Yes.
It's a shame.
Point of order.
Okay.
You're a shame.
What's the word? Okay, yeah. Bonholio. Come on down.
Good evening. Thank you, council. Happy New Year, everyone. Congratulations, Council President Harris. Where do I want to start? I want to mention, every time I've been to the meeting, I keep asking the police officers if I have to go through the metal detector. And they keep telling me that the chief is saying we have to go through the metal detector. I keep asking them if they can provide a law that allows them to do that. Because if there's a law, I've been wrong before, if there's been a law, and no one's been able to provide one for me. So it's a Fourth Amendment violation of the United States Constitution as far as I'm concerned, because I don't want to go through it, I don't want to be searched, I don't want my stuff taken out of my pocket, I don't want my property removed from me and put on display so everybody can see, just my property when I'm coming here, and, there's no reason for it. It sends it's a bad taste. It's the first thing that, that's why that video went viral, because the room was so charged. I mean, now you got the cops here all the time. The room was so charged. It was crazy looking. I didn't get to speak last time. I came to the meeting and I didn't get to speak. So now I'm trying to double dip and try to get all the stuff in that I was trying to say last time. But last time was pretty crazy the way the meeting ended, because I didn't even get to speak. I made some toys, I make action figures. This is the Leroy Truth action figure. I'm presenting this to Leroy tonight for all his great work in Edison. Leroy, true action figure with his recording, with his video camera. So Leroy, that's for you. Thank you. Enjoy that. And so I do the superheroes, action figures and stuff. We all have characters. And I figured I'm going to do a super villain, because I haven't done that before. So you can't have superheroes without super villains. So I almost like slightly feel bad a little bit because the chief was being nice to me today. He knows. So this is the Chief Tom Bryan doll. And this is representative of everything that happened last time at the meeting. That's the chief. It says on it, "I hope you're happy, dude." And it says on it, "The night I went crazy." Mm-hmm. Do you like it, Chief?
I dig it.
You dig it? Well, I think I'm going to give it to Leroy, because Leroy, now you have the complete set, because these are in the same liking. So there you go, you can have the super villain to go with your superhero action figure. So, a couple other things maybe. I like that you have your name tag, Mr. Attorney. All last year was just Township Attorney. I didn't like that. So, I like that the name tag is there. I think little things like that are helpful with transparency. You know, especially with the fact that this turned into the most anti-free speech council chambers in the United States. It's what happened. You know, I know we're trying to move forward, but I still sometimes wake up and, you know, I cannot believe that the flag got banned. This became the most anti-free speech place, although we held our grounds and we exercised our First Amendment right, and we helped everybody work through it, work through all the mistakes that were made. Disastrous year by former Council President Patel. One of the worst meetings, last meeting to the end of the year. So it was a complete disaster, but I'm hopeful that things can move forward more smoothly. And I guess that's about it. I would have liked to have spoke for another 4 minutes because I didn't get my time last time, but, you know, and I know some other people didn't either, so, but thank you.
Next on the list is Vinny Caputo.
How you doing? My name is Vince Caputo. I'm only telling you my name because I have some respect for you. And Councilman Richard Brescher. What happened at the last meeting was absolutely disgusting. Leroy Troop was interrupted. Robert's Rules of Order clearly state when it's public's time to speak, let them speak. Cutting them off was not only disrespectful, but it also stomped on the principles of transparency and accountability in this council. It is supposed to uphold. Then you called for recess and then shut the entire meeting down. That's not governance, that's chaos. Mr. Patel, you suck. And I'm so happy you're not council president. I mean that was something, huh? You showed us time and time again that you're unfit to lead, and we're glad that you're no longer the chair. And as far as the town attorney, what are you even doing, man? Your job is to provide legal advice and guidance and uphold the rights of the people, not enable this circus. You are here to serve the public or just cover up for the incompetence of this administration. And for the chief, did you really have the audacity to claim that you were attacked by a belly? We've all seen the video, and your claims are an outright lie. It's pathetic, and no wonder why this community doesn't trust you or your officers. How much longer are you going to embarrass yourself with this nonsense like this? Stop treating the public like we're stupid. We're paying attention. To the council, you need to take this seriously. Mayor Samjoshi and his administration have spent over $100,000 of taxpayer money to try to silence Christo and remove him. Trample on his free speech, why? Because he's holding you accountable? That's shameful. Instead of wasting public funds and silencing critics, how about you start doing your jobs? And while we're at it, let's get to the speaking time. Let's get it back to 6 minutes. Stop trying to cut us off and suppress our voices. Also, you promised to fix the camera angles. As of tonight, they're not actually back. You can only see the back of my head. So we said that, I guess, 3 meetings ago. It's not back. The way it was is what was said. To Margot Harris, I didn't know if you were going to be the chair. To Margot Harris, if you're the new chair, then it's time to take a stand to the, It's time to take a stand and conduct proper investigation to the accusations of Mayor Sanjoshi. The residents of this town deserve the answers. And let's not forget about Christo. Drop all charges against him now. This council is an embarrassment to the town and the people they serve. And as for the mayor, he's looking like a lost cause at this point. We deserve better and we demand better. We the people are watching and we are not going anywhere. Do the right thing for once. I have 1 minute left. Not a lot of people know the story. I'm from Highland Park, the town over. I grew up with Russ Azarel's son and Christo. I was treated unfairly by the Edison police when I was 18 years old. 18 years old. I got charged with a robbery for taking a cell phone that I bought, and I was actually charged. Went to the Middlesex County Jail. I didn't have a lawyer or money, and I spent 41 days in jail. And the public defender said, "You can get out today with a felony, third-degree theft." And I took it because I didn't want to stay in jail. And I think it was wrong of the Edison police to do that to an 18-year-old kid that was just a cell phone. So that's all I have to say.
Vinny made a good, it's something I meant to address in my remarks about the camera angles. And can we restore the camera angles so that they are showing when it's council time, that they show the council, and when it's public time, that they show from the front the public?
The angles have been restored, so you're seeing the entire council chamber.
What my understanding from a number of people is that you're basically seeing the back of heads of the public.
That wasn't my understanding, but I'll double check that.
Please, thank you. Okay. Christo, you are next.
Am I recognized?
You're recognized.
She's absolutely a liar. And you guys, you're not even challenging her on it. Edison TV, are they showing me? Well, because they mentioned it. I wish you, oh, just the back? It's not the way it was. It's not the way, they did show Joyce's face though.
Yep.
Now,
Right now. See your face now.
yeah, because we're mentioning it. Because we're mentioning it.
He's clicking away.
Yeah, he can.
There it goes.
I thought that'd be free program.
God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. God bless Rabbi Bernard Rosenberg. He's not always here, so it's a special occasion he's here. Thank you, Margot, for having him to come here today. And, yeah. I was supposed to have Charles started today. Oh, well, through the chair to Councilman Brescher, you're invited. Friday, we're gonna possibly start, they're persecuting me. It's all right though. It's gonna be the greatest trial New Jersey has ever seen. God bless my lawyer. I have the best lawyer in the world. He's the greatest man I ever met. And yeah. Edison Police Department baked a bunch of charges on me. I got a felony for saying, I hope this, and I hope that. And they claim that there's a retaliation involved. I could get more specific, but I don't want to edit more out on YouTube. But, absolutely disgusting. They charged me, here they retaliated on me for years. For years. I finally tell them I hope this and I hope that. And all of a sudden I get charged with retaliation. That's what abusers tend to do. They accuse you of the very things that they're doing. Because it's part of the gaslighting. She's a psychologist. She knows all about it. You know? So Mayor Sanjoshi's a coward. He's not coming into this meeting. He should have came to this meeting. Took some photos with you, Margot. John, you get to enjoy the very privilege I was being thrown out of here for wearing a mask. But you're very sick. Why don't you stay home? You could get the people next to you sick. you know? Absolutely disgusting. That you came in here, going to get everybody sick. You're gonna get one of them sick, they're gonna shake one of their hands, it's gonna be a chain reaction. Just so, and Marco, how did you know he was gonna be vice president before a vote even took place? So, you know, everything's already predetermined. They legally already had their meeting beforehand, which they're not supposed to do. Okay? God bless America. God bless my lawyer. Come to my trial. The Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office is a bunch of bozos. The Edison Police Department is a bunch of bozos. Through the chair to Councilman Brescia. Councilman Brescia, I just found out today that normally it's these prosecutors, detectives come after you. I found out today that now we have Barnes family members coming after me when I have them, and we know that they served on Mayor Sam Joshi's campaign, and we've said this is all political. So that doesn't look very good on Middlesex County, it doesn't look good on the Edison Police Department. You got a whole prosecutors, they got a whole army of prosecutors, detectives. But Barnes's family, that serves Mayor Sam Joshi, absolutely disgusting. Screw it. And I'm going to say what I said to that cop the other day, I'm going to say it to them again and again and again and again, and they can't charge me for nothing. But let's go to trial.
Okay, Joel Basso?
Let them find me guilty, I'll say it again. Well, where's the crime? Where's the crime?
Joel Baxoff, Edison. So this isn't just a new year. Your election as council president, hopefully a new era for the council. But before I speak to that, I'd like to acknowledge the service of your predecessor. In this town, with this council and this public, the council presidency, it's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. And Councilman Patel stepped up to the plate, even though he had to anticipate that he'd be subjected to a lot of criticism. And I've been one of those critics, but no matter how heated a council meeting got, Councilman Patel always remained calm and soft-spoken, and we should acknowledge that Councilman Patel ushered in a modern digital billboard ordinance and has been a consistent champion of bike paths, so thank you for all that. Now, as for you, Council President Harris, you have the public's well wishes and also our commiseration for the inevitable challenges. Here's what the public looks forward to under your presidency. A council that regards the public as a partner and a resource for the improvement of Edison and not as an adversary to be quashed. Council meetings where members of the public feel like we're being listened to and where we feel respected. A council that welcomes robust public comment and even criticism as a benefit, because that's what provides the council with useful information about problems that need to be addressed and what has to be improved, and ideas on how the council can do its job better. So the back and forth, if it exists, it's not adversarial, it's helpful to both sides. So let's not discourage that. It's done in most cases with a spirit of goodwill. So here are some priorities for the council in the new year. A public advocate ordinance to put residents on an equal footing with deep-pocketed developers. Let's get past the BS excuses that are just developers' propaganda. Edison needs a 21st century logistics-centered definition that distinguishes between traditional warehouses and modern distribution centers and fulfillment centers. The public needs a council that exercises its advise and consent authority for mayoral appointments to the boards. Let's make sure that the council vets nominees thoroughly and make sure that every appointee will serve the interests of the general public and not the interests of a political machine, or who will put the interests of developers over the interests of residents. Now, I know that one of your council colleagues disagrees when I say that I speak for the public, but I think I do speak for the public when I say that your election as council president is good for Edison. So congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, Joel.
Who?
Maria.
First, I'd like to wish everybody a very happy new year. Hope all the holidays was good for you. Congratulations, President Margot Harris, and congratulations to Vice President John Pointer. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make the January 14th blood drive. My job, I'm currently on lockdown, so I wouldn't be able to give. I'll look for another opportunity to give blood. In remembrance of January 9th, National Day of Mourning, if you could say your prayer for the former President Jimmy Carter. We'll also have Edison Environmental on January 16th. If anyone wants to come, we'd be great to have you. Talk about what our next projects are. Thank you for your service. Have a great day.
Thank you, Maria. Steve Uncle?
Steve Ronco. How many minutes did Joel have? I think he had like 6 minutes. And I'd like to know why the lawyer ran a meeting. That's an OPMA violation. Mike Burns has been absent from these meetings. He threw you guys under the bus. He gave you guys bad legal advice, and then he just disappears. Hopefully you guys can get rid of this law firm because they're absolutely horrible. If you do a Google search on them, they increased the rates from like 40,000 to 400,000 just to get paid. And I think that's exactly why they passed that ordinance. So we would sue, and then they'd make bank trying to argue it. I've asked for several open requests. I keep getting extension after extension after extension. I'm denying all requests for extensions. Some of them are immediate access items like invoices. Hopefully you can address that. And if you're on oprahmachine.com, you can look at it where they just don't even answer some of them or just give themselves extension after extension. Last meeting, they illegally enforced the 4-minute time limit. It had not gone into effect after the 20-day rule. You also adjourned the meeting illegally during the public portion. Time to speak, OPMI violations have been sent to the appropriate government agencies. Pointer should not be vice president, as he voted for the First Amendment to be banned, as well as a couple other people here. His oath is a joke. He voted to ban the First Amendment. To me, he shouldn't even be on here, never mind vice president. What you can do about the government social media accounts that are illegally censoring their pages, the shelter, the mayor, Nish Patel, the police department, we can't get on there and say anything. I mean, as soon as Nish Patel puts his apology and the mayor, first thing you do is violate the First Amendment, say you can't say anything about it. The camera angle, when Crystal was first up here, wasn't on him, and that's an ongoing thing. You guys just keep on going after him, and that's why you had national and international attention. You guys ignored Robert's Rules of Order. I'd like to know if any of you have gone to the municipalities and learned Robert's Rules, because somebody says a point of order, and then you just roll over and don't even address it. So Robert's Rules of Order, you just ignore it. I mean, the last time I stood up and said Robert's Rules, you guys just ignored them. You guys just do whatever the hell you want to do, and it's an atrocity. So I'm finished, but I'd like to hear what you have to say.
So to the attorney, with regarding running at the beginning, the reorg meeting, what can you tell Steve Ronco?
Yeah, I mean,
Stop the speaker's time.
yeah, I mean, Mr. Ronco's wrong about so many points. I'll try to do my best to reach all of them. First, it is perfectly permissible for either the clerk or the municipal attorney to preside over the meeting until such time as a council president is elected.
You have
happens. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt Mr. Ronco. He's going to talk.
Could you hold his time?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, okay. Other answer questions.
So.
Is he going to get a rebuttal to my legal opinion, or how do you want to do it?
So, I'd like to let you finish.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So there's you can call it an open meeting act violation. It's not. We don't have a council president. We don't have a presiding officer. Somebody has to All right, Councilman, I'm not going to speak if I'm
You did have
yelled at.
No,
I'm not gonna-
actually, his term would have been up on December 31st.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why there was technically, at the beginning of this meeting, no council president.
But don't you think that's an issue if he's not, he should be council president until the next one succeeds him?
Am I mistaken on this?
You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
That's just the first one.
Okay. And Steve, you also asked about the social media, social media pages, and your question on that was what, again?
So what are you gonna do about the government social media accounts that are illegally censoring the pages?
That's not true. I'll back in.
That is true. So Bronco versus Carteret,
It's true.
the horses versus,
Stop capping, lawyer.
horses versus Yeti, they lost $40,000 for censoring people. You also had Trump get violated years ago under the,
Can you stop again?
Can you stop speaker's time?
Okay. All right.
they're censored.
So, once again, wrong. If a municipality wishes to not have public comment attached to one of its pages, it absolutely has the right to do
Wrong.
that. It cannot remove comments based on, that would be a content-based restriction.
You're censoring it.
Council President, this is impossible. I cannot provide opinions if you're going to yell over me. This is absolutely out of order, and I'm not going to speak.
Bronco versus
If he's going to yell over me, I'm not going to.
Steve, we've stopped your time on purpose, and you certainly, if you want to start the time again, we can do that, and you can respond. You want us to start the time again?
Yeah, so horses versus Yeti out of Hamilton, New Jersey, they sued because they blocked and they stopped people from commenting. I'm blocked on the police department's page. That's a government page. I can't comment on some of his stuff. He's turned off commenting. If you go to League of Municipalities meeting, have you gone there? Because over in there, they specifically said about Carteret versus Bronco versus Carteret, where you cannot censor. And that's exactly what you're doing by stopping commenting, by turning off commenting. You can't do it. So his legal advice is absolutely horrendous. You guys should get rid of this law firm immediately. They're horrendous. And if you Google them, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Coughlin's a Nazi. Your entire question? Your entire law firm are a bunch of assholes.
Speaker's time is up. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, this is, yeah, all right, well, someone who put down Sam Joshi, is there someone who put down Sam Joshi?
So we know the rest of the stuff, gotcha.
I'm sorry, Steve, the rest of the stuff, we talked about the attorney running the reorg meeting and the government social media pages, right?
Robert's Rules of Order. So just tonight, you said a point of order, and it was just ignored.
Okay.
So Robert's Rules of Order is in the garbage. What's your legal advice on that?
All right.
You know nothing, right? On that one too?
All right, so with that, we open it up to the public portion, and what I'm gonna have you do is, instead of my going this, and this, I'm gonna have you just line up behind the podium, and then we can do it that way, so that no one feels ignored or anything like that, so let's start with you. Lefty, can you give your name and address?
Good evening, Edward Lefty Grimes, sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 here in New Jersey fighting for the rights of the disabled and for cannabis patients' rights. Also the First Amendment. I'm not going to give the chief too much of a hard time today. He took a real big hit on Instagram, and it's just, the comments are just brutal. And it's an embarrassment what happened, but what my big issue is the police union, the leadership of the police union, endorsing Genital Joshi, spending their political capital endorsing Genital Joshi. It's not even election season yet, but you're endorsing this guy. Why don't you endorse a wheelchair ramp for the South Amboy Police Station, police union? You have the South Amboy Police Station without any wheelchair access. Why don't you spend your political capital there and endorse a wheelchair ramp? Why don't you endorse wheelchair access to your own building here? Because we're having somebody come here to laser measure the incline, and for sure it's not compliant. Why don't you have the police union endorse a ramp at Montclair Police Station? Union City, you have police officers walking over a civil rights violation every day. Now this is not you got good cops there, but your leadership is the worst. Your leadership is playing political football with the disabled. In Brielle, there's no wheelchair access in the police station at Brielle. This is burnt into my mind because years ago, my buddy Jeff, who was our first president of Sativa Cross, he had stage 4 cancer, would go to council meetings all over the place. He went to Brielle, and sure enough, we couldn't get into the Brielle council meeting. The police station and the council meeting were both blocked. This is how our government doesn't care about the disabled. Now, I had to watch him struggle up those stairs to get into the Brielle council meeting. It was very sad. It's burnt into my mind. I crawled up the stairs like Marina crawled up to this podium. Absolutely disgusting treatment of our disabled vets. Our government doesn't care. We've proven it over and over and over again. You have UEZs, urban enterprise zones in New Jersey without wheelchair access, where disabled people can't get the same tax breaks as able-bodied people because they can't get in to those urban enterprise businesses that have those tax breaks. You have cannabis dispensaries without wheelchair access. You got no Zoom access for many of these meetings. Post offices, how do you have a post office without wheelchair access? So when you have a police union that's endorsing genital jockey instead of endorsing wheelchair access, a button for have no button over here at the police station. You have other things to worry about. Your bathrooms are not compliant. There's no button on there. There's no foam pads under the bathroom sinks. The measurements are all off. Very sad treatment for our disabled vets. You wouldn't even have this council if it wasn't for disabled vets fighting for your right to be ignorant and ableist. God is watching. This is a test. How long do you think you're going to be on this earth for? A couple more weeks, a couple more months, a couple of years maybe? God knows how many hairs are on your head. And it's very sad because I've seen so many people suffering unnecessarily, and I've seen it here, where the chief and the police union allowed these disabled vets and people to suffer, going up that horrible incline. So I'll end it with this. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you.
Thank you, Lefty. Go ahead, Steve.
Council President?
Yes.
Yes, to Sonia. Can we get a letter, because you were telling us that the ramp was compliant, and I didn't believe that it was. Can we get the engineer to send me a letter saying that that ramp is ADA compliant to our standards today? I know you told me that I could talk to him, but I'm looking for him just to give me something in writing. Thank you.
Okay. Steve?
Steve Nagel, 19 Back Drive. I rise today to first congratulate our Council President Margot and to beg of my fellow citizens, give her an opportunity to settle into her chair and get used to leading a meeting. A point of information and then a question of information. The point of information is I pulled up the YouTube feed from the meeting and the camera angles are working. Personally, I think the back of my head is my best side. I leave that up to your good grace to figure that. But it is showing the council in the front and the back of the speaker. The question I have for the clerk, if I may, is with the Star Ledger going to online only on February 4th, the last printed edition February 3rd, how does that affect the requirement of public notice, and would we need to replace, for example, that with another media source? Thank you very much. Best wishes for a successful 25. Oh, and the Human Relations Commission, just so you know, is reorganizing on the 14th next Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you. To the clerk, the question about his Star Ledger and what happens.
Well, we use the home news for our print. The home news Tribune is where it's printed. So the home news stops printing and they change the law online.
Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Scalzo, my contact information is at scalzophoto.com, SCALZO.
Recognized?
Yeah. A number of things I wanted to speak about at last meeting, but it was, you guys left work early and you went home. So I'm going to do a little quick introduction first. I'm not a good public speaker, so bear with me. I also have an issue to talk about the police chief, but I'll get to that in a bit. Looking back at my life, one of the most valuable times was working at Mather Hospital on Long Island for about 10 years, and I was introduced to many surgeons, doctors, nurses in the operating room where I assisted. One of the things that I realized is just how impressive those people were. I'd walk into the room doing a certain task, and a patient would have their intestines literally on the outside of their body, laying there. Somehow they were still alive. It's still magical to me. They finished the procedure, stitched up the patient, and sometimes that person would end up walking the very same day. It was pretty amazing. Not only were they technically skilled, I'm talking about the surgeons, but I would speak to them in the break room, and most of the doctors were actually pretty friendly and generous with their time. A few years later, I started to collaborate with Leroy Truth and focus on local government, where in medical situation, I met some of the most impressive people. Now in local government, I'm starting to meet some of the most shockingly unimpressive people in positions of influence, which is pretty amazing. Mayors like dictator Brian Stack of Gina City, with his mobster-like city attorneys and cronies. Brian Stack, probably one of the biggest empty suit politicians I've ever seen. Leroy and I visited Bridgeport, Connecticut, where I met, we can't get it, he's like the Wizard of Oz, but we learned about Mayor Ganem of Bridgeport, who put 7 years in prison for corruption and racketeering, and then became mayor again, which explains how broken Bridgeport, Connecticut is. Now, Leroy and I have been introduced to Edison, Mayor Sleazy Sam, and a complete low-quality person, in my opinion, and his buddy, Nish Patel, from what I can see at previous meetings, he seems to be running interference where they're friendlier than they should be, rather than being independent. Complete bullies that would rather drag people out of a building than actually have conversations back and forth like people do. Let's check the time. Oh no, she's running out of time. The bad behavior was made possible, thankfully, by retiring Police Chief Tom Bryan, who, from my experience, is a complete psychopath in the sense that he doesn't seem to understand human emotions and how people express them. For example, we came to the last meeting, and the empty suits decided to go home, and like a bunch of teenagers cutting class, while the rest of us were here to have a meeting. The police chief could not figure out why people would be upset. Emotions are necessary, and that is often when people are the most truthful. The police chief he tended to guess. Of course, he acted very friendly. He's very good at acting friendly and sociable. But there was a situation where, well, he basically can't handle criticism. I was going back and forth with him and walking alongside of him, and he did this thing where he stops short, turns quick, and pokes me right in my belly, which everyone's seen the video there. And he immediately lies. I mean, I've never seen someone that can lie so shockingly quick in my life. And then he goes, "You get your hands off the police chief." I'm like, my hands were nowhere near you, you poked my belly. And then he says that I rammed him. And you see the video with about 5 different angles. It's actually shocking what a liar this guy is. And it's gonna be a way to test out more to come in the future.
Thank you. Sue, come on up.
Sue Barber, 8 Pleasant.
You recognize.
Happy New Year. Congratulations to you, Margot, and to you, John. And Nish, I can only echo what Joel said, that it's a tough job. I know in my heart you were trying to do the best you could. But I think all of us are looking very much forward to a fresh new start and hitting the reset button. I will not be here Wednesday, so I would like to make some comments about the library board appointees. These appointees should be based on experience, credentials, and merit, and also based on who will do the best job for the library. That's it. New appointments should be carefully vetted and not just rubber stamped. And I'd like to know, what is the process for approving these appointees? What are their credentials? And I believe there should be some formalized process for all appointees. Based on merit and credentials, I see no reason to remove Pat Massey and Sue O'Neill from the board. Sue has been on the board a little more than 10 years. Pat has been on the board for 10 years. That's a decade of experience managing quite a large library system. I feel like that board has always had the best interest of the library. And honestly, nobody knows what's best for the library more than the librarians and that board. Pat serves as, Pat is a librarian. She serves as president of the New Jersey Library Trustee Association. And I can't for the life of me understand why the mayor would remove her. She's president of a statewide board. That's nothing but a credit to Edison. So I don't understand that. And I think it's not a stretch to say that that these, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, these appointments seem purely political. The mayor has, I go so far as to say, bullied this board on a number of instances in the past 2 years, and the board stood firm. They are very independent, and they have independent counsel, and that matters. And the mayor was really pushing to get rid of that counsel, but that board stood firm. The mayor was also absconding with the Clara Barton Library building. That board stood firm and did not bring that up for resolution, and our library is there. I feel like it is this council's responsibility to ensure that that library board remains independent. It is in the best interest of our town for the library board to be independent. And I urge you to do your homework and have a formalized process for vetting these. Just because time limits are up on the board does not mean these two important people should be replaced. They have the credentials, they have the experience, and the merit to remain on that board. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you. Actually, Sue, to your comments, which I couldn't agree more. Councilman Brescher and Councilman Teal and I have had some discussions about this, and that mayoral appointments are on a consent agenda. It's about consent. And as such, rather than a rubber stamp, that we are looking to make some changes in that and have a committee that can vet appointments like that, vet and interview. So stay tuned for that. Thank you. Okay. Akhtar?
Upton Asset, Pleasant Avenue.
You're recognized.
I want to wish everyone a happy new year and congratulate the council president and vice president. I also wanted to say that I like the idea that we are inviting the mayor to come here on a monthly basis, whether he attends or not, that's his prerogative, but it would be great if he could come here. I have a couple questions, and they might be better addressed to the VA, so if you want to delegate it that way, you can. The first one is, as I was going through lots of conversations with residents when the water main broke, one of the things that somebody asked that I should ask is about the infrastructure. Said rather than replacing all the lines, that maybe they should go ahead and replace also the old curb valves, because that seems to be an issue. The other issue that I saw in a lot of the EDO people that started working at 8 p.m. on that night was that we need to have better communication. We also have to have better resources provided. For instance, there was no water distributed to the residents. There were no restrooms for the residents. When I tried calling the Edison utility on behalf of the residents, the 24-hour line, it went to dispatch. When I asked dispatch what's going on, they said they have no idea what's going on. When I looked at the website, there was no information. I had to resubscribe to Nixle again, I guess, as well, but I don't think that there was anything going out there. So I think we need to establish better communication. This was not the crisis of the century, but what if it was? If we couldn't handle this situation in a good way, how are we going to handle something that's much bigger than that? I want to move on to the library board, and we had Joel and we had Sue speak about this. I think, as you just said, that we need to go ahead and do this a different way. I think also we should also advertise on our brand new expensive website all these positions that are out there, including the OEM and also the library board. I asked the mayor and administration to do so by email, because I wasn't able to talk last time, but there was no response there. Right now, we are using the website to go ahead and say that the boil water advisory is lifted, or whatever it says right now. So I don't see why we can't go ahead and do the same thing that I asked, to go ahead and have these different boards advertised to the 100,000 people versus the few people that are connected. Or maybe we're told, one-on-one. So it should really be a larger pool, is what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking that you probably have an idea about that as well. I also think that if you're going to be nominated, you should be present. I also think that the resumes should be given to the council so that they can look at, maybe you do have that, but I'm not privy to that. The last thing I want to talk about was Ordinance 2241-2024. No, that was on the agenda today, but I just wanted some more information about that. For instance, who proposed it? What exactly is it about? I keep hearing different things about it. Edison owns the land supposedly. It's not being used. And I wanted to know about the terms of the deal. It just seems that we're not getting a market rate for that property. I just want some clarification. That's it.
Okay, so your questions were about the replacing curb valves was one thing? Was that a question that you had about?
That was a comment that somebody made that they wanted me to bring up to your attention, that that should be also something else that we do.
Okay, so, and the resolution we were talking about, which is tonight now, but which one is it?
It was ordinance 2241-2024.
And that one is which one?
The ordinance authorizing the lease of property at 52 Lexington Avenue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right. So you had a question about that, and any other questions?
It's about communication.
Communication, okay, very good, thank you, okay. So the question about the lease of property at 52 Lexington, can we address that?
What is the actual name that you're referring to? The parties?
Is that Chevra Hatsova?
Yes.
The Hatsova, okay. What was your question specifically? Because
Am I on top?
Yeah, just to clarify.
All right, so I just want to know information. If you could just, I hear things that it's a parking lot that they just need to use, or I heard things that they want to expand, or we're giving a cheaper rate. It seems like we're not making people pay for a certain amount of time. Just one clarification on the whole process.
Councilor Pointer, can you have some insight on this? Council President?
If that's okay. Just what I recollect, and we have in back of us, the proposed uses for an EMS station. I believe the term is for a 30-year term. Yes, the annual rent is at a reduced rate. I think it's $500 a month, increasing annually, compounding annually. The trade-off would then be, because of the EMS services offered, that's why they would have that. In terms of expanding a parking lot or anything like that, we have at least preliminary architecturals of what the facility would actually look like, which looks more like a house versus like, say, the Claremont First Aid Squad. I believe there's 3 bays on it, and that's at least a cursory overview. Hopefully that answers the questions they have.
Council President.
Yes. Councilman Quillen?
Just wanted to comment. First, you had a lot of great questions. Second, if people don't know about Hutzel, it's an EMS provider for that area there. And I think it's a great opportunity because I had a chance to visit that area. And it's a 24-hour opportunity to supplement EMS services and paramedic services. So if you look at the trade, I didn't do a comparison to what other squads are getting, but we're basically getting free services for probably 7,000+ residents for that geographic territory. So I just want to share that with you. And it is a professional run organization and everything is absolutely free. Not one person would be getting billed. It is a free service to offer paramedic and EMS services to that area. So, hats off that we have the opportunity. Maybe that'll lower our bottom line with other services, but I just wanted to share that. But they're great questions.
Thank you, Councilman Quill. Thank you. Joyce?
Council President, I don't mean to interrupt your meeting, but there was questions with regard to communications on the water.
Right, okay.
On the water main break. I actually just wanted to add to the Hatzola, having experienced in Bergen County with Hatzola. If you go to Bergen Hatzola, there's a really great Q&A in terms of the operations, which is consistent with what they would be doing here in Edison. So I encourage anybody to look that up on their Q&A, provided they're pretty good information about straightforward budgetary services. On the communications, we had 118 communications that were sent out to residents. With that, not only on the socials, there was about 11 different platforms, the website, the Nixle alerts. There were just a massive amount of communications that we put out. First and foremost, this was a very delicate and complicated operation because it was an 800 PSI gas line. And for those who unfortunately have to remember Durham Woods, that was a 900 PSI. So with that, we had to be very thoughtful about the area in which we were going to keep digging towards, okay? With that, we made sure that there was accommodations between the Sheraton and a couple other places. Huge thank you, and we sent out thank yous to various organizations, especially the JCC, who were able to provide showers for residents. The Edison Terrace really was the last of the folks to get the water turned back on because it was the immediately affected area. We did go door to door throughout that entire area, not only giving out water, but keeping folks up to date. I will tell you overwhelmingly, because of the amount of communications that were out there, primarily on the safety side of our OEM, I congratulate our OEM, our coordinators, and our deputy coordinator, Kenny Schreck, who were on the ground with the command center, who were able to, there were a lot of people that came through, and we were able to communicate and give them the most up-to-date information. But it took as long as it did, and I'm happy to say that there were no casualties, given the fact that we were in such a critical area.
Thank you, Sonia. Okay, Joyce?
Okay, Joyce Shep Freeman. The water main break was not like the pipeline over at Durham Woods. That's unexpected. We expected this water to fall apart, this crumbling system, because when I got on the council, I ran on water, okay, way back in 2019, and people would ask me, why was some of this stuff taken down from the site? That explained all the stuff prior to this about how we were supposed to do certain things that we told the government We were supposed to do certain things so that we wouldn't be fined. So that's what unnerved people. People like it when you just tell them the truth and say, well, you know, I should have took care of it sooner. Okay, now I may play whack-a-mole for a while and catch up. When you make something strong, when I put this new cap on it, remember everything else is gonna get weak down the line, all right? I just like people to be truthful when they say things and they do things. And believe me, I know, like when people say, people in the room when they're making the sausage, I know about all the no's they came upon about the water prior to the new administration, working hard on that. And let me talk now about the library people, about Pat Massey. Great leader, great librarian. Her, I, and Sue served on the library together. Sue served along with me. We together worked on a union package and everything for the librarians there. So to me, Sue and Pat are very, very valuable people. But they don't know if it's like this because they're not committee people. So they said that if you're not a committee person that can guarantee a vote for the new mayoral election, maybe you can't be that librarian anymore. You have to do that. And to me, that stinks because there's no integrity. You know, we should at least stand for something at Edison. We stand here with the light of the world and we can't stand for integrity. These two outstanding people, this is what we did. These kind of people like this, that's not fair at all. And also, I would like to speak about the overabundance of pickleball courts throughout this place. Like, what's the average season for it? Like, I mean, there could be some other things that we put up, because I noticed now, there was only 3 kids walking past my house before. Now there's like 20 kids walking past the house, and I'm just interested in what are the areas outside that they have to play in, you know, what information do we have, and also, how are we moving on affordable housing? Because a lot of neighboring people, they always go, not my backyard. So, I mean, with the new economy, with the new people coming into office in DC, we gotta be a little more careful. And last but not least, I would like us to restore our 6 minutes. And the thing that really angered all of us, Edison people who had legitimate questions for you, the way the meeting ended abruptly, you get angry with people out of town. Then you tell us after sitting for 2 hours, bye-bye. I did not like that at all. I thought that was terrible and whatever. And I'm hoping that, well, I know that this new leadership, it'll be much better, because guess what? The old leadership brought the crowd and brought all the people here. And then you wanted to blame them for coming. You can't be disrespectful, you can't be rude, you can't treat people like crap and think that you're gonna have a good meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Joyce. Okay, PJ?
Good evening, Ben from Edison, New Jersey. Do I have the floor, Council President?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to give a moment of silence for our latest president, Jimmy Carter, and also 4 years ago, one of my family's friends, Brian Sidnick, who also died 4 years ago from this horrible mob. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, cameras on me? All right, awesome. Council President Ms. Harris, congratulations as president of this body of chamber. And you, Mr. Pointer, congratulations as vice president, and I hope you feel better because the flu is, forget about. Anyway, what a year that we had, especially with the Edison residents. I was affected, that 1% of the Edison Terrace. We had no water for those 5 days. I want to appreciate the proud of everybody from Creamer Construction, from the fire department, Chief Toph, Santa George administration. They were handing out waters. I'm not sure if you guys saw my Facebook Edison residents private page. I was posting things from last week, stories and stuff. Because to be honest with you guys, the news was getting it out what it needs to be. The mayor was a little bit of lack of transparency, but for me, and I was brought by Mr. Brescher that, oh, I need to write a story about this because everyone was left in the dark for those 5 days. So I took the opportunity to write my thoughts about this water main break, and I had a lot of responses from it. I don't care if I get chosen as Citizen Award for Edison because of my due diligence, and thank you, Mr. Brescher, for coming out. Thank you, Mr. Joe, as well. Thank you for everybody. You know, and I say this, you know, when we have a crisis in Edison, basically like this as a water main break, everyone stop fighting, let's all come together and help neighbors, helping neighbors. I really appreciate everybody, all hands on deck, 24 hours a day, even 5 days because of this. They were working nonstop to fix this. I just really want to appreciate everybody, and also to the chair, to the business administrator, Sonia, about those communications. What times are those communications were getting out? Do you have a timesheet of that? According to, thank you, if you can please, that would be great. Also, going back to the meeting that I saw, I'm going to say this, I'm going to be blunt with this. I didn't appreciate how the meeting was shut down all because someone was yelling and screaming to get back for 30 minutes. That's absolutely insanity. This is not how we should be running meetings like this. Come on, we're Edison, New Jersey people. We have over 100,000 residents looking upon not just the council, but the mayor itself. So I really want everyone to please work together, and let's literally just, you know, I don't like the whole 4 minutes thing. We need to bring this back to 6 minutes. And even Mr. Bronco talking about the raw rules of orders where, you know, stop restricting the public access from YouTube, Facebook, or any public government page. That is not right. That's all I'm going to say. My minutes are up. I have nothing else. I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Anthony?
Anthony D'Ambrin, Edison. Councilor, congratulations, by the way. First question, in regards to DPW, are residents able to, during the week, drop off recycling, extra recycling at the recycling center? I'm not sure if that's, it never used to be, but I've been hearing it is now, so it is? Okay, that's good. The planning board, are there any members' terms that are up? I don't know, I was trying to find it online, I couldn't find it. If there are, is the mayor reappointing anybody, or are there going to be new appointees? The planning board just approved 2 more warehouses last week, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, on Whitman Avenue, and that's just terrible. If you're familiar with that area, I believe that's the ground zero for overdevelopment in this town, and you know, those residents there are just surrounded by just the traffic. I don't know what to say from that. But you're looking at, I think, a 50,000 square foot warehouse and the 10,000 square foot warehouse. But it's important that we pay attention to these the planning board on who these members are. I believe the mayor controls the appointments for those seats. So I was just curious to see if there are going to be any new members there. Also, I just wanted to thank the Edison Water Utility for doing a fantastic job and trying to get that water up. You know, I feel bad for the residents of South Edison. It's just terrible, and you know, I'll say this for the next meeting, but I believe that these a lot of this the infrastructure problems, which the mayor has known about for quite some time. It concerns me, what has been done or lack thereof over the last few years. But I'll wait for the next meeting to address that. But also thank to the fire chief. Your department did a great job. Out there, I brought some water. Just a tremendous job. They really were. There was lines of cars, and I think everybody left with cases of water. So that's pretty remarkable. So good job, chief. And that's it. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Anthony, I do have information about the planning board terms. An expired term is, it looks like Manohar Gocher. He's a class 4 member. His term expired December 31st. We have one, Donald Corrett. His term expired December 31st, 2023. And then we have Lav Patel, whose term expired December 31st, 2024. And then, of course, John Pointer. His term expired, and so we're going to be looking for a council member to the planning board.
Right. Well, I think excuse me. Yes. So that's what Councilman Pointer was, right? He was just the liaison, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I guess the question is if he's going to be appointing any of those, the mayor.
Don't know.
You don't know.
No. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Anthony. Okay. Yes.
Just as a point of clarification, Manohar Goshen was reappointed after his last meeting.
Oh, he was, okay.
So it wasn't
Sorry.
updated on the term aspect.
Anyone else from the public who hasn't spoken who wants to speak? Okay, if not, we get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion?
We get a second? Okay, we got a second from John Pointer. And I guess we're at the point of motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Get a second?
Second.
We are adjourned at 7:51 and 15 seconds. Thank you very much, everybody.